come up that we want to go back to ourselves. So
Yeah.
you never know whether you're
No, definitely. So shall I share my screen maybe?
Yeah, maybe
Or
we should
we are
start
waiting
by
for
just
somebody?
introducing yourselves
Yeah,
briefly,
please.
because we've never met. And you obviously heard my talk, so you know I'm a professor of linguistics, and I founded the research center Places of Climate Change at Bangor. But maybe Simon wants to carry on.
Yeah, I'm Simon. I am a professor of sustainability at Bangor, but also in charge of all the social science at another institute called Rotherstead Research. And we do quite similar stuff, actually. So I do lots with sort of citizen science, but often using smartphone apps and things like that.
So hi, I'm Roy. So I'm presently at EPFL as a postdoc, but I mean, I work with Indian municipality, helping them in air quality and climate change policy and implementation. But other than that, I also co-founded this platform like 4 years ago. It's called Sobuj Prithibi, which literally means the green earth. And this is because so after my PhD, I worked in an CSO, civil society organization for 2 years, where I directly work with the farmers, like almost 12,000 farmers, aquaculture, and a different livelihood aspect of climate vulnerable regions in India, Bangladesh, and Bhutan. And then I came to realize that the climate vulnerable people doesn't understand English or any other UN affiliated language where the IPCC report is written. So I started translating it, and then we translated the IPCC report and the relevant part for this part yeah, of the world in Bengali. And now after almost 3-4 years, we have 150 plus articles on climate change. We have we have the entire communications, it's almost the entire communication medium in Bengali. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm also involved in I have my own civil society organization operational in eastern part of India. And we are doing pretty interesting thing in the sense that nobody have tried there before. So yeah, I'm really thrilled to show you my work and talk about some potential collaboration that might help us both.
Thank you. Sounds really interesting. So if you want to share your slides now.
Yeah. Just maybe a very quick go through of what we are doing and where we need. Okay, can you see my screen? Maybe.
Coming up, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, like as I mentioned, we already have this platform, and the interesting thing is when so Bengali is a language spoken by 250 million people worldwide, and it's restricted to Bangladesh and eastern part of India. So there it's one of the if you see the map, it's one of the most climate vulnerable region because there has been occurrence of cyclones, occurrence of heat waves. The rain the Indian monsoon is very fluctuating nowadays. So overall the livelihood of the people is severely damaged by the extreme events part of climate change. And so we have these topics in this the Sobuj Prithibi thing. Let me just have a pointer here. Maybe, yeah. So I mean, we have like editorials, we have latest news on climate change tidbits, like how do you measure global temperature, what does it mean, how do people measure sea level rising, and it's sort of a FAQ type of stuff. We have an entire section dedicated for livelihood because most of the readers of our blogs is basically either farmers or the kids of the farmers, so basically the students. So we have an entire dedicated section for on livelihood. We also have a kid section where different climate change experiments are written, which is DIY and student can perform by themselves. So we have 3 million footfall since 2019, our social media and Facebook platform, and this is like a huge number. We are really gaining popularity, and people wanted to do a lot of workshop on climate change. So we started doing workshop very religiously. On every Saturday we will do a workshop. Like 3 years back we have a promise to people, and then after, so in this 3 years we did like 136 workshop. And but these are very small workshop. I wouldn't say that it sensitized like, you know, a million people or so. It's basically, you know, we take like 20, maximum 15 to 20 people, so that and try to have a interactive session. It's not nothing like, you know, we show slides and stuff like that. So it's usually a very interactive session with a very small group of people. So the sensitization is really nice, I guess. And we have this climate adaptive sessions where we invite farmers who have established climate adaptive livelihood, the scientists who have worked on climate change, or development professional who has a success story to share. And we invite them and they talk with us in extremely detailed manners that what they have done and how to adopt in this particular scenario. So presently we have 10 interns and 35 volunteers, but we think that was not enough, so we started to doing citizen science as well. So these are the air quality monitors that I made during my PhDs, but yeah, it works really nicely. So we deployed a bicycle club in a small town to get the air quality monitoring over the entire city, and it works really fine. There were 20 bicyclist volunteers, and there was 250 participants who are attending in the survey and the other stuff, some car countings and where the uh, fossil, mostly coals and other polluted fuels are burning other than LPG for cooking. And it was a nice impact sensitization, we call it, because it's not only showing power points, but it's basically they are doing it for their own city and they have a stake in it, and they do it very voluntarily and they really like it. So
can I ask you something about that?
Yeah, sure.
Because the way you reported it,
Please.
it sounds like the idea for this project came out of the workshops, so from talking to the people directly. So is it like a co-creation of a common research goal that you are jointly achieving? Is that how it developed?
Yes. So basically, when we are talking to the people, so it seems like they wanted to do something, but you know, other than planting trees, they do not have any options.
No, planting trees is great
and,
for a
and
start, but yeah.
That's why we provide these low cost tools. These are made by us and calibrated by us. So basically, it's very low cost, and it's basically I guess it's 40 euro per sensor. So it's really cost cheap in that way. We deployed them, we told them the objective, and they do know the city better than any of us. So I am not showing any details here, but interestingly they also did a slum map for the entire city, which is, I mean, very easy for them. So it's basically a crowdsourcing of data, and it's basically participatory mapping of the entire city. And this is when we do that successfully, we thought, okay, why not on water? uh, so we did this. So there is this bacteria in and bacterial disease of dysentery and stuff. So it's called coliform, and it's causing a severe problem in this part of the world. So what we did was we made a kit, and we have a memorandum of understanding with an university who actually helped us making out a kit. And there are commercially available options, but they are really costly. So in the kit there are 2 tubes, and in one tubes they have to put a very pure water which we provide them. It's a deionized water, and another tube they have to put the potable water they are drinking. So in 24 hours, if there is bacteria, the color changes into this red one. And by when they visualized it, this is something very interesting. When they visualized it, this actually changes their sort of behavior. They started asking questions, and now we did it for 570 citizen, and we took interview afterwards, and we did focus group discussion with them that why you were using this water, Why not using different kind of water? And all this 570 citizens come from very different background, very different socio-economic conditions. So most of them, some of them use free water provided by the government. Some of them use a 20-liter big jar water which is provided by some local companies. And interestingly, we find that the those who pays for the water are actually having bad water more than the free water. So we ask them that why do you prefer that? Why not go for RO or any other normal filtration techniques which are aged, old, and very proven? So we came to understand that people in living in the city, and this we do for a mega city, Calcutta and or Kolkata. And so we came to understand that okay, people do not have time. So this when they ordered this mineral water from a local company, they will serve you, they will provide you, and it's logistically very practical for them. But if they install a filter, they have to do a regular maintenance, they have to change the filter sometime and stuff like that. So they don't want to took that effort to do that. And after this, some people at least a 10% of the people come back to us after 1 month and saying that okay, we have changed our preference of water now, and will you test it again? So I was like, okay, good. And whenever we find a red coloration, we actually took that water sample to a actual laboratory and test it and validate it, I mean the result. So yeah, I mean, so that was with water. Also, this is something very interesting my team is doing. It's called air pollution walk. So the idea is you took a sensor, you took a bunch of citizen, and don't confine yourself into PowerPoints. Just roam around the city with them. If you see the map in the right side, you will see it's a 2 kilometer path that we walk in 2 hours. And so there is kitchen, there is living room, then there is minor roads, there are shops, small industrial units, food stall, major road and junction. Everywhere they go, they measure itself, and there is a air quality resource person who actually explain why this is high, why this is low. And it's actually we understand that it's actually introducing very complex thing of about air pollution. And when we started the walking, people were talking about okay, let's just do not take private car, air pollution will stop. They have a very linear thinking of air pollution reduction or how to manage it. But when we end the walk, people used to talk about okay, what about the traffic police? I mean, he or she is staying there for like 24 hours or 8 hours almost a day in that high concentration. Or what about the shop, whatever the fried chicken shop at beside the road, she is cooking all day with this high pollutant concentration. So the idea of socio-economic inequality in air pollution exposure, that gradually comes to their mind. Not only the scientific details, but this comes to their mind. And this is something really interesting, that the feedback we got from them, and people are asking us to doing that more and more again in a possibly every week. So then this is our last sort of newly very innovative thing. So what we did, this is a climate laboratory in school. So people usually take environmental education as granted, like they do not bother about that. It's the marks is not added in the main examination. So students usually do not take that very seriously. So what we do is we select a school in Sundarban. Sundarban is a mangrove. It's world largest mangroves, and it's very close to Bay of Bengal. So the school is basically, maybe 5 kilometers away from Bay of Bengal, and it's mangroves. It's muddy, and you cannot go by car. You have to take a boat to go to the school. And we establish 5 teams of students there, each teams with 10 students. And we provide them water, air, weather, biodiversity, and soil measurement tools. So we set up an weather station, we provide a air quality monitoring instrument, we give them some water quality instruments, some biodiversity tool, and some soil quality monitoring instruments. So the idea is They will do this DIY experiments by themselves. They will map the entire region, what in the water, what in the soil, and then there is some online resources. We talk in every other week. So in 15 days we used to talk with them to help them to interpret the data. And in the school assembly, they will talk to the result to the entire school, so that the entire school also gets sensitized to some extent. Last day, now in India it's monsoon. The monsoon is almost going to finish, but there is a lot of thunderstorm occurring in India nowadays. And last day they talk in the assembly about how to save yourself from a lightning event. So what to do during a life. So it's sort of a disaster preparedness or also. And in the kids section of our website, we also have a section called do you want to be Bear Grylls? So Bear Grylls is a character from Man vs. Wild. There is a show in Discovery Channel, which is a survival show. So yeah.
Can I just come in there, because I think you are doing a lot of fantastic work, and I think this is extremely interesting. We only have 13 minutes left in this call, so if we want to have a discussion, we should maybe go over to that part.
Just I want to go through very quickly. Okay, these are the ages and the school students. And what happened, like last one day, like 2 days before, there was a cyclone, and the weather station in the school, the students, they actually coordinate with the local block developmental office, the government office, to help them to decide whether they would declare its emergency or not. Data from the weather station. So yeah, this is the last slide actually, and this is what I really wanted to discuss with you, that we are doing these experiments. We are doing a lot of experiments, but I personally do not have training on writing papers or assessing this in qualitative research or social research or education oriented research. So I really don't have, even though sometimes I write this, it seems to be a very data oriented paper, which the idea is not. And so I really wanted to ask you to guide me, to be collaborate part of these sort of projects that we are doing. And maybe so that we could have a idea of or we could maximize the outreach in the international level. So that's where I really needed your help. Or if you have a experiment in mind, we could also do that, implement that in India. So that is also one of the proposition.
That's very interesting, because it sort of came to my mind to ask you if these fantastic experiments and the work that you've done has been published, because it should be out there. So I can definitely see that there are papers in that should be written if they haven't been. So have you published anything at all on
Yeah. So basically the air pollution work, 3 work has been communicated. So the air pollution walk, and the water pollution, and the air pollution by bicyclists. So these 3 work I have written, and it's it's possibly published in a few months or something like that. So we got a good review. But other than that,
send that over for us to have a look. That would be great. I would be very interested in that.
Yes, I will send you the manuscripts. Okay.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks very much. I like fascinating. It's right up my street, basically. This is exactly the kind of stuff that I love. And the smartphone survey that I do would sit alongside your work perfectly, right?
Okay.
And we've already done it in India. We did it in Hyderabad, which was amazing. So I'd love to go back to India, mainly because I really enjoy the food. Every time I have a project in India, I put on weight. Love to get involved. Can easily help with data analysis and stuff that you asked for, like study design and things like that. Because I use very, very similar technology. And like with your permission, if I can share the video with a few people maybe outside Bangor,
please,
someone from Cranfield and Leeds, because they would also jump on this.
Please go ahead
and help out. And what was the last? Oh, I had a question. How much have you got? Like, so they're doing like some people are doing repeated transects and stuff like that. So how much of a time series have you got? You've been doing it a few years.
So for the air quality experiment by the bicyclist, it took me 2 days to map the entire city. So implementation, so I am from implementation. I have worked with the farmers and stuff, so I know how to implement things. And
Yeah,
for
so
me, it's
they
very
mapped
easy.
it, but they mapped it and just mapped it once rather than they're constantly cycling
Yeah,
around doing
yeah,
it.
that is
Okay.
true. But I mean, for water, it took like a month because there is a
Yeah.
lot of sample, the discussion, the interview, and everything. And I mean, I think implementation is not, and moreover, like the entire program we have been doing, there is no absolutely no funding because there is these are so low cost that we don't want to
Yeah,
raise
yeah,
funds.
exactly. But potentially, because I think one of the value of this is that you can do it
Scale up.
repeatedly over time,
Yes.
and because it's
For this.
cheap. Same with the surveys that I do. We do them repeatedly over time because they're on the smartphone. They have it on their phone. Like you
Right.
don't need to go there all the time and ask them questions. And so you can see how air pollution, for example, is changing over time and how that's affecting people's lives in the area, literally as almost a live map side by side. But obviously, the more you do it over time, the more expensive it becomes. But writing a grant to do that is certainly not impossible, right? That would, I think, be quite attractive to a funder. And saying, look, we've already
Yeah, yeah.
tried this. It already works. We just need to do it over and over again. Would give them a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
So like
It's
previously, I've written grants. Oh, I forget what the Indian one is called, with like joint grants between ESRC, which is the UK one, and is the Indian one ICSS or ICCS?
now the problem with India, like the present Prime Minister, they have regulated the foreign money so trickily that it's very difficult to get a fund from outside for a NGO who has just established. So maybe in 2 years, 3 years, we can apply for that and get fund. But for now we have to rely on funds. I mean, for if which is like a personal grant, I'm personally looking for these small grants. Like recently I got one, the European communication EGU communication grant,
Yes.
public communication grant, but it's 1,500 euro, so it's a very small grant. But yeah, this works. I mean, it doesn't require a lot of money, what I understand.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And well, potentially, like with my Cambodia work, that's entirely funded in the UK.
Yeah.
Right. And then we just send Cambodia like £50,000 to do their
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly.
So it could work in a very similar way. I basically I think it's really cool. I'm keen.
So what I will do is I will send you some of the publications which I have
Right.
communicated with in some journal, but that's just three. I mean, these climate school work, I don't have any idea how to actually evaluate it. I understand. I mean, I can have a question. I did survey myself a lot of time, but what exactly to ask to get that thing is I really need help. And I'm a very data person, so for me this sort of research, or what kind of publication I need to read, I mean,
You
these
know
are the things.
what's going through my mind is not so much the data analytics side, but that more the aspect of how you successfully manage to bring the people in, because that's what British funders are extremely interested in nowadays.
Yeah,
They're bringing together the
particularly.
science side with the not only social science side but also humanities and more
Yeah.
generally, because the big question underlying all the work nowadays is how do we get the science into the people, and how do we co-create something that can actually make a change in the end. And I think your approach is works so well, and you can prove it. That needs to be, I think that needs to be in a paper. I think that's a paper waiting to be written as a success story.
Yeah.
And also these successes can be built into any grant proposal as a basis for that sort of what work needs to be funded.
That would be really good, because I mean, these are pilots. And so like in December we are going to do a work where we will training farmers to have a microbiology laboratory of their own, so that their fertilizer cost is being reduced. So they will produce microbes in their home and put it in the field directly. So the pilot will going to be in December. And I mean, so what I will do is I will send you the 3 manuscript which I possibly will I mean going to be published soon. But the other works and some of my future works that I'm planning to do now, which if we plan together jointly, I mean it could really come up with a good academic manuscript as well.
Yeah, I see so many ways in which we could collaborate. I can see sort of you and Simon collaborating on the actual data side. I would like to be involved in the paper that I basically just talked about, the success story paper, and I can imagine that Corinna, who is a social scientist, would also be interested in that. And then for future grants, we could talk about that. I would also like you to give a talk for PLOC more generally. And that would open up further possible collaborations with other members of the Places of Climate Change Research Center. So that's a few avenues. We could add you to the list of associates for PLOC as well, so you would get invitations to our research seminars.
Okay,
that would be
really helpful. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Do we want to schedule another meeting, or do we pursue this by email and separately?
Maybe I will send you the mail first. Yeah. You go through it. You send me. I will send copy to all of you, and you go through it. And most importantly, I will send you a documents where what I planning in next 2-3 months is there, so that we could come up with a proper evaluation tool. And so that it would be very easier. And I personally wanted to shift from this climate data oriented climate change to more of an education side of the thing, because I like this. I came to understand this is really nice. I just wanted to provide you just one I will send you a link. You could open that. I will also send it in this. So what I'm doing here is for the teaching purpose, whatever DIY experiment about climate change can be there. So and some of them are my own designed experiment. I put it in an open source platform. You could just go and see that whether. So in few days, I will also plan to talk to some teachers who will be teaching them. And I think this is also from their perception, it could be a nice publication. That what do they think? Can they?
Absolutely. There are some education people in PLOC as well, so maybe that would be another avenue to make that connection, so you can talk to them.
Okay. I will send you the mail by the weekend. Okay.
Excellent. That is fine. You must be super busy.
I mean, thank you so much, Simon. Thank you so much, Thora, for organizing this. I mean, it's really nice to talk to people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for getting in touch.
Really exciting to see your work. Really
absolutely. Yeah, I see lots of ways in which we can pursue this. So thank you for your time, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.
Take care. Bye.